So, I recently had to deal with something no one should ever have to say out loud. My classic Mustang got vandalized and the HOA tried to fine me for it. And the reason? Because I'm a federal agent. Funny thing is, the only thing that got removed was the person who did it in handcuffs. Let me start from the beginning. There's a sound metal makes when it's been cut too deep. It's not a scream. It's worse. It's the slow groaning terror like the bones of the car waking up and realizing they've been violated. And that's what I heard the moment I stepped outside. The air was still. No birds yet. Just the hush that comes before the sun decides whether or not it wants to burn the world today. And there it was. My 1967 Mustang Fastback parked right where I left it. Only now it looked like it had been dragged through a war zone. The hood had dye pig sprayed in red from fender to door handle. Thick letters, tight spacing, and smudged. Purposeful. The side was worse. Deep, deliberate grooves. Scum etched into the paint like a blade had danced across it slowly. This wasn't anger. This wasn't a tantrum. It was a message. And it was meant for me. The kind of message I used to interpret for a living back when my badge said FBI and my job was reading the difference between impulse and intent. Mike, Emily's voice cut through the fog behind me. She stepped outside in her robe, blinking in the early light. Oh my God, she breathed. Who would do this? But I didn't answer. I was already in the zone. I crouched next to the front wheel, scanning everything. Spray patterns, overspray, direction of strokes. They used controlled bursts. Sprayed side to side. Didn't hit the windows, didn't tag the windshield. That told me two things. They didn't want to be seen, and they didn't want to damage the car completely, just enough to get the message across. Just enough to twist the knife. Dad. Benji stepped out in slippers and his college hoodie, that same one he wore like a second skin since school started. Gray with a red stripe, slightly frayed at the drawstrings. He stopped halfway down the steps. His eyes landed on the Mustang, then flicked to me. Whoa, he said. That's messed up. No shock, no questions. No, what the hell happened? Or, are you okay? Just, whoa. He took a sip from his protein shaker and leaned against the porch railing. I clocked it, stored it. Not just what he said, what he didn't say. Emily moved closer to the car, hands trembling. Do you think it was someone from the HOA? That creepy kid Karen always has following her. Maybe, I said flatly, standing back up. Maybe not. I didn't add what I was really thinking. That this felt too personal, too surgical. The hood was keyed in long, even strokes. They knew the paint job was custom, knew how deep to cut to ruin the clear coat, but not warp the body. It was someone who understood value and revenge. And then I saw it dangling from the driver's side mirror, half caught in the hingia thread, red stitching, cotton blend, athletic hoodie material. I pinched it off, studied it. My brain instantly pulled up the match. Benji's exact hoodie. Same make, same stitch pattern. I didn't react. Not yet. Because when you're profiling someone, you don't show them your hand. You let them keep talking. Let them fill the silence. That's when the knock came. 3 short raps, 1 breath pause, 1 slow follow-through. Karen. HOA president. Neighborhood tyrant. And apparently the first responder to vehicular hate crimes. She didn't bother with a greeting. Mr. Dawson, she said with mock concern. We received an anonymous report about a potential compliance violation. I came to see if everything was all right. Emily blinked. You're citing us? We were vandalized. Karen offered a sympathetic smile, the kind that makes you want to check for fangs. Unfortunately, the appearance of the vehicle in its current state violates several community guidelines. It could be seen as threatening, inflammatory, even hostile. She handed me a violation slip. Fine. $450. Reason, visual disruption. Code 8B, due in 72 hours. I suggest you move the vehicle as soon as possible, she added. Before the neighbors get concerned. You mean before it ruins their lawn staring sessions? I asked. Karen gave me a nod that said, we'll be watching you, and turned on her heel. Benji was back inside before she even left the driveway. Emily put a hand on my shoulder. What are you thinking? I stared at the hood one more time, thinking about the scar my brother accidentally left under the driver's side emblem. The one we always joked about never fixing. It was gone now, buried under the word scum. I took a slow breath. I'm thinking someone just picked a fight they're not ready for. If you'd asked me that morning who I thought did it, Karen would have been at the top of the list. Maybe Ethan. Maybe a neighbor with too much time and a spray can. But the real answer? He was already inside my house drinking coffee, pretending this was just another Monday. The Mustang roared to life like it had something left to prove. It was dusk, golden light on chrome, engine spitting thunder, and my brother gripping the wheel like it was the last anchor he had to this planet. Because it was. We just finished the rebuild. 2 years of busted knuckles, junkyard bargaining, and late nights that always ended with him coughing into a rag behind my back. He wasn't supposed to drive. His doctor made that clear. But cancer doesn't own you until you stop driving. That was his rule. He eased it down the street, slow and reverent, like he was taking a victory lap around everything that tried to kill him. The car didn't hiccup once. He made it to the stop sign, then back. When he parked, he cut the engine and said, "If anything happens to me, don't sell her. Don't junk her. And don't ever let her sit still too long. She was built to move." That was 5 years ago. Now I was standing in front of her again. Except this time she wasn't moving. She was bleeding. Spray paint still flaked in the wind. Die pig. Across the side. Scum carved into the hood deep enough to catch sunlight. This wasn't chaos. It was choreography. Whoever did this, they knew restraint. The rear view was untouched, tires uncut, mirrors clean, windows intact. They didn't want to destroy the car. They wanted to mark it, to send a message. And I'd spent 20 years reading messages just like this. Emily peeked through the screen door. "You've been out here 2 hours. Just thinking. You're profiling again." "No, I'm..." She stepped closer. "I know what it looks like when you're trying not to profile." That's what scared her, not the crime. The fact that I was becoming that version of myself again, the one who never let anyone in until the case was closed. And this wasn't just a case. This was personal. So I recently had to deal with something no one should ever have to say out loud. My classic Mustang got vandalized and the HOA tried to fine me for it. And the reason? Because I'm a federal agent. Funny thing is, the only thing that got removed was the person who did it in handcuffs. Let me start from the beginning. There's a sound metal makes when it's been cut too deep. It's not a scream. It's worse. It's the slow groaning terror, like the bones of the car waking up and realizing they've been violated. And that's what I heard the moment I stepped outside. The air was still. No birds yet. Just the hush that comes before the sun decides whether or not it wants to burn the world today. And there it was. My 1967 Mustang Fastback parked right where I left it. Only now it looked like it had been dragged through a war zone. The hood had Die Pig sprayed in red from fender to door handle. Thick letters, tight spacing, and smudged. Purposeful. The side was worse. Deep, deliberate grooves. Scum etched into the paint like a blade.